Hello everyone, welcome back into my YouTube channel. Now I'm in the way to the old town in Krakow and I'm going to meet with some person. It will be, I'm sure, great meeting and we will record something together. If you are interested in, I'm inviting you to stay with me. Let's get started. Hello, hello everyone.
Hello, dzień dobry.
Dzień dobry, we can say even in Polish. And I have big pleasure to meet today with Tom. Tom is a guide in Krakow. He's doing great tours in this city and I would like to do some short interview with him. Yes, we can start, Tom, yes?
Yes, of course. Just, you know, that 20 years behind me with the German English groups. I always say it's nice to meet friends. And just with Rafał, we met for the YouTube channel. I thought there's such very interesting spots around Romania. And there's absolutely, Krakow is very connected with Romanian history because we've got the István Batory, for instance, from Transylvania, the Dutch from Transylvania, they became the Polish king. That place that we are here, just you could behind us, we could see in the background just the St. Mary Basilica and the cloth halls. There was the always place for the royal ceremonies. Here there were royal weddings, weddings, but also the different homages. They always new presidents were welcomed. And last week, for instance, was the Jeremy Clarkson, the moderator from BBC.
Yes,
there was the thousands of
paparazzis,
and now there are new kings. There's just such form. But as you see, a lot of pleasure here. There's just, we say, chillaxing atmosphere. The jazz clubs, the people performing in the market square. It's the third biggest market square in Europe after Rome and Venice. That's why there are a lot of visitors from Britain now. Just like today, I got the American visitors. Nice that Americans don't afraid to go to Poland. There's just
yes. I think
you could ask different questions around Krakow.
Yes, I can ask you, of course, Tom. Please tell what about tourism now in this period?
Yes, exactly. Today for the television Polsat, I want to say that only 30% of visitors. A similar situations in other historical places. I heard my friend in Kyoto, in Japan, the same problem. The 70% of groups cancelled, and especially cancelled the groups from United States, France, Great Britain, Germany. A lot of German visitors cancelled. But the individual tourists that if you watch the YouTube or the just internet, they see is the normal life. It's extremely safety in Poland.
What is the reason why they cancel this tour?
Yes, just from one side we've got the crisis in the Ukraine. We call the political distance, and on the west there matters the sounds about the next wave of the COVID. That's why there is the double problem. Last year was only COVID, but now we are just like on the both sides such information, and the safetyness is for tourists important. But look around, the people that's just absolutely just 100% healthy, smiley, and the restaurants are open, and there's just like in Italian cities we got the slowly recovering of tourism, and just I think it's just that the tourists are very happy with the service, and just I think not only at the weekend now we got the Friday, but on the Monday, Tuesday you see a lot of visitors in Krakow. I see.
And what are the places? What can you recommend to visit except the old town?
Just we could even now got a good sunshine. We could turn a little around. Just over there, you see the we say oldest restaurant in Europe, Wierzynek, since 1364. The family Wierzynek came from Saxony and was the richest family. They invited the German emperor, Polish king, and the supper lasted over a few days. That's over 7 days. Even dogs and horses could drink beer soaked in oats. There's just a Michelin guide recommended that restaurant and 1,000 places before you should visit before die. As just the Wierzynek is the Michelin mark. They serving breast of pigeon, duck. Just close the green facade of the house is the competitor of Grey Goose, and on the left Wierzynek. the Grande Grill, they're just like nominated by Michelin Guide. But of course, the better price, student price, is the outskirt of the main market square. Here you're paying for the view. For instance, the beer costs about like €4.
Yes,
because here there's the very salty price because you're paying for the view, the same coffee. The similar like Marcus Square in Venice, there's just they paying. In one moment, there's the getting the bugle call, hey now, from the St. Mary Basilica. And if you just the highest tower, and every hour is the live signal. Is connected with the legend that is the Tatar invasion to Krakow. Only one god was awake, so enemies and started to play bugle call, wakey wakey melody. One of the Tatar took the elbow and hit his in the throat while he was playing. You see the sound of the hey now.
Yes,
And this imagine is not automat. We're paying tax. The higher tower owner is the mayor of Krakow, and the employs the 7 firefighters. Every hour on hour is the live hey now in 4 cardinal points. At first he's playing for the king, which is playing for the royal castle Wawel as the direction, and then he's playing for the citizens, Krakowians, then for visitors, Florian's Gate, at the end for plebs, east side of the city. I think you didn't consider that these east districts like East London, East Berlin, East Krakow, they are fishy side. Why? 70% of wind, maybe East Bucharest is the same, because the 70% wind in Europe is the west wind. Okay, just I could repeat to you, consider what is the east side of the city, East London, East Berlin. The 70% wind in Europe is the west wind, and the all smelly goods were sold in the east districts of the such cities. The similar was in Krakow. If any merchant, they sold the eggs, they wanted to sell the eggs here, there was the pushed out, it was not permitted, because that's why we say in English fishy. Something is suspicious because the fishy side of the city, the east district of Krakow. Yes, but imagine we are in the Grand Plaza. The word rynek główny is just not proper. We would say Grand Plaza. There's the third biggest market square in Europe after Rome, St. Peter Square, then is Venice, Marcus Square, and here the rynek główny, 40,000 square meters. The capacity
so
for...
it's one of the biggest in the Europe.
Yes, the third biggest in the from medieval. As the such size was for trade goals. There was here the big trade center. Imagine the cloth halls. They are just on the my right. There was used as the horse stable, but also for elephants and camels. Why? The north-south was the amber track, and east-west textile route connecting the Persian Empire with France. There was just always place for the big trade. But the trade mainly with clothes, exactly that we staying here was the old copper market. The copper was very important. Even Krakow had the name Kupferhaus, as the house of copper. Copper, of course, we took from Hungary, but we got the permission for selling copper on the way to Baltic Sea, to Gdańsk, the Hansa city. But the Krakow was also Hanseatic city. We got the title Hanseatic city, but very far away from Baltic Sea. Almost 700 kilometers there to Baltic, but a very high privilege. But it's another curiosity connected with the main market square. 5 centuries ago, we stood 5 meters lower. Imagine there's the process. Every year, we're going 1 centimeter up, but the process was that with changing till the 18th century. Then they turned the place to plaza, the place for the different military celebrations, and there's the now plaza for the walking distance. Important fact of the history of Krakow: Krakow was not damaged in the First or Second World War. You see the original architecture untouched. Even in the Second World War, that square was renamed by the General Governor from Krakow, Dr. Hans Frank, to Adolf Hitler Platz. The monument behind me of the Mickiewicz, the Polish Shakespeare, that was demolished, but the Poles didn't enter the place of the Mickiewicz. They put the flowers around to respect the biggest part of Poland. There's such form. But the important thing, no uprising in Krakow. We just we got like a neutral blood in Krakow. Krakow flag is white and blue. White, it's mean neutral, blue the Vistula River. And even public transport in Krakow is white and blue. White it's mean neutral, and just such neutral position we want to keep just here.
Tom, you told me a lot of beautiful stories about Krakow, about this city. I think you have big knowledge about our city, about this place where we are living. You are living still, because I was moving to Romania. But I would like to ask you something about your tours, about this, what you are doing in your professional job, because on the beginning you mentioned that you are a guide tour in Krakow, so if you can please tell us how it looks, this guides, how you are deal with the people who want to come to visit Krakow and to see this place.
Yes, we've got a different kind of the sightseeing. You see, even behind me is going the, we call the Landara, that is the diligence or the dorożka, but it's the very salty sightseeing, 250 zloty for 4 people. So, but the very simple is the walking tours, just the walk. You take the 2 hours walking tour in the old town, UNESCO site, and there's just, you see the most important spots like main market square, the oldest university, and the Royal Castle Wawel. But it's very funny kind of the sightseeing on the Segway. It's the kind of the scooter. You're staying on the 2 wheels, very quick through the instructions. You got the full information, and then just with the guide, you preceding the guide, going around the old town. This now is a more and more popular kind of sightseeing. You've got the social distance, the very funny form of sightseeing. It's just the price about the 20 euros or so, but it's just the very recommended form. Of course, on the scooter, on the bike, and the other kinds of sightseeing. You could take, of course, the Melex, so-called golf cart, and there is the going Melex. But Melex is far away from the old town. Not in the old town, they are not permitted to enter that place. That's why you see much more the 2 horses and the dorożka, the fiaker, so-called fiaker, so-called tour around the old town. Yes, but we're staying on the Royal Way, and here they're preceding the Queens and just the Queens to the main, the Wawel Castle as the most representative part of the. Maybe we're taking the few steps to see something around the corner, because the main market square is like a magnet. There's more and more visitors always, especially the weekend. That's why there's such the full, we say beer gardens are the full of visitors. Even there you got the jazz club, you could sing the karaoke, there's a lot of visitors there. There's just every evening a very, very busy place. That's why the most recommended there's just bike tours also. We got the next option, we got the tandem bikes, electric bikes, we got to get even long tour along the Vistula River to Benedict Abbey, 12 kilometers west of Krakow. That's the very recommended tour for 3 hours tours. There's a 3 hour tour. But there's always arrangement, there's always the minimum 1 week ahead, because they're just spontaneous coming to Krakow, say, oh, just I want to visit something, is that just a little too late. We got just the scheduling, and the 1 week ahead is just minimum. There's a good to arrange there's any tour.
Exactly behind me, the oldest gate in Krakow. Krakow used to have 7 gates, but only 1 gate survived, because as that part of the city wall is from medieval. How they come that survived? The Krakowians didn't like strong wind, especially ladies, umbrellas. The wind causing different trouble. That's why they preserved that part of the wall untouched. And the Florian is over there. Is the Saint Florian is the patron saint of the firefighters, of the guides, and here they're preceding always the famous people, but just mainly the queens, kings, and emperors, like Franz Joseph, for instance. That's why just behind is just the Barbican, the barbaric style defensive tower, and the drawbridge and moat. There's such moat around the Krakow is 4 kilometers long, and that surrounded the old town. In the medieval Krakow was just like Paris or Rome, 10,000 citizens. London was the biggest, 100,000 citizens, but Rome, Krakow, Paris, 10,000. That's why for 10,000 towny people, there's just such good space to live. And exactly even in that corner there was a lot of breweries. There's 25 breweries, the similar amount like in Munich, for instance. That's why the Krakow, because still they've got a good beer, Okocim, for instance, the brewery from Krakow with the good taste, and always recommended, for instance, the bock beer or just the wheat beer, for instance, for the Krakow. Okay. I'm taking out the glasses because we are in the last point of our sightseeing. There's the Barbican, it's not Barbie, but the barbaric troops. The Krakow was attacked by the Tatars and was the very clever Morik style, 121 arrow slits from one side. You've got the one drawbridge over there, the second drawbridge, and was like a trap for enemies. If the enemies entered inside of Barbican, there was like a mouse in the trap. But they weren't killed, but the north of Krakow had to build the new town, Klepasz, with the huge horse market, and that was the place as the competitor to Krakow, the Klepasz, that's a competitive town to Krakow. And you look at this, there were two cultures, because Tatars took Islam, there was the Islam town, Klepasz, and Krakow, Christianity. Krakow is very open for different cultures. Anyone they could feel like at home, we say Jewish, Islam, Muslim people, and just in Africa, there's just, we saw, independent of the color of the skin, you could feel the freedom and touch of history. We say the history is in the air. That's why the such building is since 1499 and saved in the untouched form. That's why you could admire the history and just take the deep breath of the history. Yes, that's the part. Big thanks, Rafał, for this short tour around the Krakow. It would be much longer on the live sightseeing or just watching our channels, just the Tom Guide Krakow greetings from Krakow. Okay.
Thank you so much, Tom, for this meeting. It was a great pleasure to do this tour with you, short tour around the main square in Krakow. So I appreciate very much because you found the time to meet with me and to show all these places, to recommend what to visit in that city, and what can I say more?
The most important, that's just the best greetings to Romania and just Transylvania, just Bucharest. That's my dream to go there, to do the bike tour around Romania. That's just a big dream. That's all the best to you. We say good neighbors.
I would like to invite you to come to visit Romania, Transylvania, and all the country, because it's worth to see. However, I come from Krakow because I was born here in this city, so that's why I'm coming here. I'm coming back to my family to visit the people in that city. So I think that's all what we wanted to tell in this vlog. I want to recommend Tom's channel, Tom Guide Krakow. You can check out this to watch some videos about this beautiful city, Krakow. So please subscribe to his channel. What can you say more, Tom?
Just subscribe Rafał channel. It's just always the most important for YouTubers is just a little kind of support. That's why big thanks and there's all the best. We say do widzenia and see you again. Do zobaczenia.
Do zobaczenia. See you again. Bye bye.
Thank you. Just
bye bye.